Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Yankees Avenue live stream. Hope you all are doing well. But if you're a Yankees fan, I imagine you're not doing all that incredibly hot. But obviously, yesterday, for those who aren't aware, we heard that Gerrit Cole is getting an MRI on his pitching elbow. We don't yet have the results of that just yet, but we have heard some reports that could possibly give us an inclination of what is coming. And that is a report from Bob Nightingale, stating that the Yankees have re-engaged with the Chicago White Sox and have made a new proposal for Dylan Cease. The new offer did not include prize prospect, outfield prospect Spencer Jones. This is interesting for obvious reasons, being that if the Yankees are re-engaging with Dylan Cease, what do they know about what the MRI is going to show with Gerrit Cole? Now, a lot of people have been speculating, like, yo, why is this taking so long? We heard earlier that Judge had an MRI. They get the results back like that. And that's typically how it goes with these MRIs. I mean, it doesn't take all that long to get the readings. But what's going on here is the Yankees are seeking out multiple opinions. They have that MRI back, guys. And that's why, I mean, kind of shitting bricks right now. I feel like it's only a matter of time that we do hear. And I'm knocking on wood while I say this because nothing is confirmed. I do feel like we're headed for the news of finding out that Gerrit Cole has a torn UCL, which, as we talked about yesterday, as you guys all already know, we'd be in Panicville if that's the case. Now, would I entice the White Sox in a deal for Dylan Cease? If it doesn't include Spencer Jones, that definitely makes it a lot more appealing. I have a little bit of a mock trade that we can look at here. This is what MLB Trade Values, a website that kind of equates like what a realistic deal is using like numbers and all this stuff. This is the deal that they have going back to Chicago, which they would consider to be fair. One that doesn't include Spencer Jones, but instead the Yankees' number 3 prospect, Roderick Arias, number 9 prospect, Henry Lelane, number 10 prospect, Brando Maea, and Angel Benitez. Even though this doesn't include Spencer Jones, I mean, this is still quite hefty for a guy who, I mean, I like Dylan Cease, especially if we were to, get him back to 2022 form. But for a dude who, I mean, what you're getting out of him is pretty uncertain. I mean, he had a 4.58 ERA last year. Granted, 214 Ks in 177 innings pitched. Doesn't walk a lot of the guys. His FIP was much better than that ERA, so you anticipate you'd get a guy better than what he was in 2023. But to give up a package that steep for a guy who's not a sure thing, that being like your bounce back after potentially losing Gerrit Cole for the year, I mean, I'm not saying I'm against it, but there's nothing right now that you could tell me, or trade talks, or even signing Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery, that would have me not in the total dumps of the world if Gerrit Cole has a torn UCL. So, once again, with all this said, we don't know what the deal is. We have not yet heard official reports that it's torn. For all we know, maybe he's fine. Maybe he's going to be okay. But contrary to how I typically am, where I lean optimistic, glass half full, it's hard to not see where we're heading here. And I hope it's not the case. But, hey, I mean, regardless, we do know that Gerrit Cole is not going to be starting on opening day. He's going to open the season on the IL, for sure. It's looking like you're probably going to have Marcus Stroman be the opening day starter, followed by, assuming the Yankees don't make a trade, or if they don't, I mean, they could, but Stroman, Rodon, Nestor, Clark, and then either Clayton Beeter, who's looked really good this spring, or Luke Weaver, who's on the roster as well. So regardless of what the deal is with the UCL, whether it's torn or not, hopefully it's not, but regardless of that, we're going to be looking at a season starting without Gerrit Cole, which, as I said yesterday, if it is just a month without Cole, or even 2 months, that would be a W at this point. If I get a tweet right now, a notification that, no tear, Cole will miss through May or even through June, give me Gerrit Cole for the playoffs. That's all I need. That would be a massive W. And speaking of that, I do want to bring something up. I guess maybe going back a little bit on what I said before, that there's really no news regarding a possible torn UCL with Cole that would not have me down in the dumps. He could go the route of, for those who remember, Masahiro Tanaka in 2014. Tanaka, after getting off to a phenomenal start in his first year after signing with the Yankees, that big deal, was an all-star, was a Cy Young candidate, was looking nasty. He tore his UCL in early July. And it's like, oh shit, what does that mean? We're headed for Tommy John surgery. Tanaka and the Yankees opted for something different. They instead decided to rehab it And he was back 2 months after diagnosis. And while a lot of guys will bring up like, yo, he was never the same after that, and you're not wrong, people push that narrative a little too far to the point where they say like Tanaka wasn't good after. That's not true. I mean, just 2 years later, he got Cy Young votes. He was a very respectable pitcher in the years that followed. Obviously, we know his postseason resume. That all took place after rehabbing the torn UCL. Granted, it was a partially torn UCL. So, I mean, there is a world and a likely world where if Cole's is torn, even if it is just partially torn, he's probably headed for Tommy John. But just putting it out there that there has been a success story in the past of rehabbing it, and we saw it with our own eyes with Masahiro Tanaka. And another counter would be like, all right, even if Cole could do that, I'd rather just him get the surgery and we get him back at 100% rather than a diminished Gerrit Cole. Which, a point on the surface, I completely understand. But if he does get Tommy John, Gerrit Cole, what does that entail? He's pretty much out, obviously, all of this year. Majority of 2025 as well. He's not going to be a complete full pitcher until 2026. How old is he going to be? 36. Or 37, I'd have to check. But he's going to be getting up there in age. And we talk all the time about this window and the fact that it's closing. The window right now is 2024. While I think the Yankees will get Juan Soto, and I think he'll be a Yankee long term, after 2024 I'm talking, this is the window right now this year. So if you can get Gerrit Cole back in any form, even if it is at 75, 80%, I'd like to think they'd at least consider that route. And I think they are. That's why, going back to what I said in the beginning, the Yankees know the result of this MRI. I think it's torn, just going off reading the tea leaves, the fact that they're apparently re-engaging with the White Sox about going out and getting Dylan Cease. I think they know the results, and it's not good. What they're discussing now is, 1, second opinions. 2, is there a possibility that they don't have to go the route of surgery? Which by no means is any of this ideal. I'm not trying to present it as such. But there is a possibility they go the route of Masahiro Tanaka, which, considering the circumstances, was a pretty damn big success. I mean, the dude tore his UCL, only missed 2 months, and was still a solid number 3. Pitched great in the postseason against some pretty damn good teams. And, let's not forget, like, the biggest thing, that UCL never snapped. People would be like, but then we got to live with the stress of it. Like, every day or every start Tanaka made, it was in the back of our heads like, that thing could snap in any second. But, I mean, I hear you, but it didn't. It remained intact. So, 100%, this is copium a little bit. Like, I'm definitely trying to, rationalize myself into not jumping off a bridge. But that's kind of where we're at. Talked about it yesterday, but this is the rotation we're looking at. Flip Stroman and Rodon around. Like I said, I think Stroman probably be a starting opening day. This for the whole season, this going into the playoffs is not going to cut it, without question. Even if you get Dylan Cease. I mean, it's hard, even if you get Cease, to imagine the Yankees winning the World Series without Gerrit Cole. That's why I'm kind of talking myself into the fact that, or the idea that maybe he'll go the route of Masahiro Tanaka. But let me know how you guys feel about this. Am I just coping a little bit too much here? Am I delusional? I don't know. It's been done before, and if anybody else can do it, you'd think Gerrit Cole would be that guy. The mock trade, let me know how you feel about this. My firm final thoughts on it are, I mean, ultimately, any deal that doesn't include Spencer Jones, I'm open to for the most part. This deal, I would headline with Roderick Arias. I don't think I'd like to avoid including Henry LaLane and Brando. I keep saying Brandon. I'm down at a headline, a Dylan Cease trade with Roderick Arias. It would just have to be probably a little bit less of as hefty of a package as this one right here. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Gonna hop back on here probably in a couple days when we find out the Gerrit Cole news. I mean, it could be tomorrow. Hopefully sooner rather than later, so we can actually get some sleep at night. But yeah, see you guys next time.